very fixed. What I've observed lately is that, the drive for the people now that the lockdown is getting softer, is that people want to go back to their old lives, so to say. I spoke to a couple of younger friends in Glasgow, and they told me about guys gathering, in pubs and restaurants and drinking as much as possible, That may be the spirit of joy, but to me it's also a spirit of I don't know, of being a victim. Because what we are dealing here is not joyful at all. It's very, very, very serious. So we are fed with examples of what the life should be for us. And if there are people who are endowed with with a drive to do something, to change things, to change the system, they are directed on special tracks like this independence movement. When I came here, I believed in this idea of independence, of having a small country which is ruled by its own people and makes its own laws, and it's a better democracy, doesn't depend on a bigger system which is very disputable. But once I understood that this independence meant to be, obeying to the EU, I realized this may have nothing to do with that, as most of the EU countries are trying to get rid of this umbrella of, this organism which destroys the national sovereignty and the values of people. So what we should understand, I'm just speaking for myself again, I don't want to direct anybody. I'm an immigrant again, I don't have any right, I never voted in this country because I consider that it's not my place here to come and vote for your destiny. I already forgot because I've got Alzheimer. This idea that we can be independent works in a really democratic society. I hope for everybody now, today, it's clear that we are very far from living in any kind of democracy. I bet there's no democracies left in this world. If you remember that famous problem-reaction solution that David Icke quoted so many times, the Hegelian dialectic, this is also something that works in a democratic society. You have a natural or a created design problem, and of course people have a reaction to that, but you come with a solution and guide people to the very next step of the agenda. If you don't have a democracy, as it is the case now, there's no place for reaction anymore. We are a reaction, still. There's no place for a reaction because they come with a solution. And this was the case at any time in any dictatorship. Now, if there's still a reaction of the people, as it is the case in the, very weakened democracies, so-called, they try to come with a counter-reaction, as it happened at the Reformation, the famous counter-reformation driven by the Jesuits. And if this counter-reaction doesn't settle the problem, with a reaction, with the normal, urge of people for freedom and human rights, they come with infiltration. They come with subversion, which is happening and will necessarily happen in all groups that we are a part of. They would be utterly stupid not to do it, not to put up their own people in these groups and try to turn them wherever they want. And this whole system is based on confiscation, as Robert, bless his soul, told us. It is a matter of taking the real needs, and wishes of people and creating the system in which they would be better controlled. That's what they're doing. And if you look at this Agenda 21 that, Petty unveiled as being criminal, many people know that already. The way they want to do it is by putting in place this great confiscation of institutions, of grassroots movement, or everything that is alive and breathing and having still some morals and something noble, in their souls and bringing them into their system. So what we'll see more and more will be an avalanche of regulations and laws and people that are put there to be simple clerics for the New World Order, people who pledge allegiance to this, and especially many of them will be among the young ones, believers in their ideals, believers in the climate change that is based on CO2 and not on weather warfare and geoengineering, chemtrail spraying, and methane, that because of this fracking and industry is now at the highest levels in all history of humanity. So it will be a climate change, but they want a controlled demolition. They want to be sure that if there is something left alive, they will be on top of it. That's it. How do we come against these things, which are overwhelming for them? We may be the last people, not the last generation, the last people standing and speaking up freely in the history of humanity, because then they will come with their AI, with their new rules pertaining to the climate change, and they will make order, and it's going to be a blue ocean. I know this theory from economics. The blue ocean means you don't have any conflicts anymore. There's no fight between predators and victims, because everything is in a perfect dictatorship. There's only one ruling. So how can we oppose this horrible attack on humanity? Not by, in any way falling prey to this spirit of division, in which, we want to put a border here, and separate ourselves from brothers and brothers of the same spirit, of the same culture and religion, and daily habits as us. Any kind of division, like football teams, or like, different parts of the country, or is bad, because we have to come to the essentials. I'm not of your people, but I come to the essentials. That's why I'm here. The essential is to promote the spirit of love, indeed to affirm the truth in love. In my religion, in Christianity, the truth is called the sword. There's nothing better than the truth, to clear up the evil stuff. So no matter what, speaking about the science we discovered, and speaking about history's lessons, and troop psychology, and speaking about facts of life, which they call anecdotal, they don't matter. So informing each other as much as possible and sharing as much as possible, this may be a way to oppose this. So we are the resistance, but we are here for a long fight. It's not going to be easy. I think we need to keep in touch and watch for each other and try to exchange things with each other. The collapsing of the food chain is happening. There are activists speaking about this in America a lot. They can't close any plant, any industry, because we've got COVID deaths. It cannot work anymore. How can you trust politicians, who don't speak about major facts of science, who allow vaccination to maim your children? We are from the older generations. We know children in our generation didn't have autism. That was an unknown word. People didn't have any mental disease, any mental issues. Children didn't have brain tumors, glioblastoma that now is everywhere, rare tumors of the heart, which we know that can be caused by microwave radiation. These politicians and their serfs, their hirelings, have promoted a whole system that, is performing a soft killing. That's the whole idea. If you still have a kind of democracy, you have to perform this very wisely, so that the frog wouldn't realize that it's boiling. So I don't know what else I wanted to say, but brothers, love is the solution always. We keep the spirit and we win. And by the way, this is for Ronnie, especially because he wanted me to sing for him, and I don't have a great voice, but I'll tell you something. There'll be bluebirds over the rainbow flies and murder. Tomorrow, just resist and you'll see. There'll be love and laughter and joy ever after. Tomorrow, when by God we're free.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Bless you all. Love you all.